Good afternoon. Welcome to the ELKR Rotary Club, the greatest Rotary Club in the world. It is really awesome. I really had to swing into that today. I limbered up a little bit because there's so much talking, which is fantastic. Normally there's that little lull that we've reached, and I know I'm starting about 1 minute early, but there was no way we were getting to that lull today. So nicely done. I hope everyone's enjoying. We've got 6 back to a table. It's a little more comfy in here. And it is just a fantastic day to be an ELKR Rotarian. And thank you all to your guests for being here today. This is a great day. If anyone's got an outstanding warrant, I would, the back door, Sheriff Siegel's right up here in front. You can probably make either one of those exits. He's occupied.
Even just really
Always good. You had fair warning. Okay. Dave Tiger. I'm going to stay thoughtful, and they always are.
That's what I got. Thoughtful words. 2 pair of glasses isn't quite enough. I ran across this a few months ago, and I thought it was something that I wanted to share. Very apropos for our time. It's entitled, "Little Things Really Do Make a Difference in Life." You may think that you are completely insignificant in the world, but someone drinks coffee from their favorite cup that you gave them. Someone heard a song on the radio that reminded them of you. Someone read a book and plunged into it that you felt that you told them about. Someone smiles after a day of hard work when they think of the joke you told them earlier. Someone loves themselves a little bit more because of the compliment you gave them. Never think that you are insignificant whatsoever. Your touch, word, and good deed that you leave behind may never be erased. It truly is the little things that matter. Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the pledge, and the 4-way test. Is the truth, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Dave. And absolutely. Good thoughtful words. You were greeted today by Julie Cotton and solicited by Tom MacArthur. I hope he got to a few of you. Julie's going to come up and introduce today's guests.
Good morning, ELKR Rotarians. Help me in welcoming 3 guests today. Candy Yoder, you have a guest? And Bill Tenwin, you have a guest.
I have a guest, my son,
Tom. And Garrett Schultz, you have a guest.
My guest is Amber Breslin. She's from the law firm downtown. Very good friend.
Thank you very much, Julie. Welcome, Amber. Welcome, Tom. And welcome, Brianna. Very good to have you here today. I'll make a call for announcements. If you have something you'd like to share, please make your way up to the podium. And I'm going to read off some dates. And I know, just grab your phones. You've got a calendar on there. You can put these in there, or you can wait for the email that will come out later today with some of these on them. But May 7th, we've got a trash pickup day. We're going to clean up County Road 6. Make sure you see Tom if you have not already, or if he missed you on the way in. That is on Saturday, May 7th. May 11th, it's a Wednesday. I'm going to go to the Concord Club's meeting down at Bent Oak. They're having their annual auction. It's a fundraiser. It's a lot of fun. Great lunch down there. Beautiful view from their dining room. If you haven't been to the Concord Club, I invite you. And if you want to come that day, I'll pay for your lunch. If you want to come to the Concord Club, I will pay for your lunch. reach out to me and let me know. I know that's probably a bad move, wasn't it, Scott? It's not that far away, is it? It really isn't that far. But no, that's a fun event. You can help them with their fundraiser, have a little fun. May 14th, we're a water stop for the Girls on the Run 5K, the new one that they're having here in Elkhart, as part of our initiative to help empower girls. It's on Saturday, May 14th. It's a couple of clean, easy hours in the morning. No setup. It's awesome. We go, we hand out water. It'll be a great day. If you have not signed up and want to and have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll resend that link. We're having another member refresher, the Rotary Basics, on Thursday, May 19th at 8:30. So we'll do this one in the morning. So last time we had it in the evening at the Relish Cafe at the Hotel Elkhart. We're going to again have this one at the Relish Cafe at the Hotel Elkhart, but it'll be Thursday morning, May 19th at 8:30. And drinks in the evening, but mimosas in the morning. I don't know. It's okay. 8:30. A little something in your coffee. That's never a bad thing. This has been a good. If you went to that before, who in here went to that before? I know Larry did. Julie did. Jim, John. It was Mo. Was it fun?
Oh, it was great fun. You were there.
It was great fun. It was great fun. We solved all the problems of the world until this next meeting, and we'll go and we'll solve some more. District conference is coming up May 20th and 21st. I know there are some folks from the morning division that are attending. I'll be attending. I think Julie, are you coming? Julie will be there. Who else? Anybody else registered? Terry Rickle. Excellent. Scott will be there. If you're still interested, there obviously registration is online. That will be a good event. Let's see. Board meeting is Friday the 13th. That's a great day for that, next Friday. And then before that, this Friday, executive committee, I'll send out an invitation for a 7:30 Zoom meeting. And next week, and thanks, Tom, for scheduling this month, we've got Vicki Becker, Elkhart County Prosecutor. So I'm sensing a theme with this month, Tom. It's all about law enforcement. It's Law Enforcement Month. Fantastic. Julie, you have something to mention?
Our South Bend Cubs Fun in the Sun Day is coming up. Many of you are registered. Terry, if you haven't gotten that yet, they're in the emails. You're welcome to join us. We have 7 spots left behind home plate, thanks to Tom, who coordinated our seating. And just some reminders as we approach that day. The park opens at noon, so you can come early and watch the players warm up, especially if you're going to bring your kids. That can be kind of fun. We have that suite for the day, and food is included. We're just going to do basic dogs and burgers. So if you have a different diet than that, make sure you handle your own eating needs before coming to partake of ballpark food. And the adult libations are not included, so if you want to bring in extra cash, and also parking is not included. So some people know some super stealthy, affordable places to park. Handle your own parking. Just make sure you have a little extra cash on hand so that you're ready for that. And bring your sunscreen and your baseball cap. So we will have tickets at will call so that you're not having to have them in your hands and lose them potentially. They'll be at will call under the Elkhart Rotary Club. So we're excited to have a day of fun in the sun with you. Thanks.
This is not an organized volunteer opportunity, but I'll throw it out there anyway. You know that some of you know that I work at 5 Star Life at the old Mellow White camp, and basically on a daily basis. But next Monday and Tuesday, we will be cleaning the cement pond. This is not like handing out water. It's a little more opportunity to flex your muscles. And if anyone is a gardener and has any interest in participating on a frequent, I'm there many days when it's not raining and thunderstorms like tomorrow. But just contact me. But I thought I'd throw it out there, whatever it's worth.
Thanks, Larry. I did, Larry, I wanted to let you know I met with Seth and had coffee. Really nice reconnecting with Seth Mouse, the executive director of 5 Star Life. One of those really great, energetic, enthusiastic guys. I'm going to try to get him to join this club. Larry, what do you think of that? That'd be a good thing. We talked. They've got an application for a donation a grant request in. I told him that those are, it does help when you're a member of the club. To maybe be on that committee. Let's see, really quickly too, I forgot to mention morning division. Bob Gerard is out of town the next 2 weeks, so morning division will not be meeting this Thursday, the 5th or the 12th. They'll be back on it by what would be the 19th, but Bob wanted me to let everyone know about that. We have a quick mini presentation today. Candy Yoder mentioned a couple weeks ago that Tolson Center, you've heard of it, right? It's a place, South Side, exciting things are happening. Well, it's really getting excited because Brianna Allen is here. She's the executive director. I offered up a few minutes for her to just give a little overview, and we've got their renderings. They've got them up here in front. I'll put them up on the screen, but I wanted to give her a couple minutes to share a little about those. So come on up, Brianna.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you all. It is definitely a pleasure to be here to share more about the Tolson Center for Community Excellence. Again, my name is Brianna Allen, and I serve as the executive director for the center. I'm here just to share a little bit about the center, what our goals are, and really ways that you can potentially get involved with us. So we are extremely excited for the future of Tolson on the south side of Elkhart. We're also excited for the future of Tolson for the city as a whole. For the last 30 years, the Tolson Center was operated underneath the city, the Parks Department, and now it is its own independent organization. It is its own 501c3. And that is pretty significant for us because it truly allows for the public and private sector to come together around a mission. And we're very passionate about our mission. I will share that. There's also so much energy surrounding and supporting the Tolson Center with the support from the city. So Mayor Rod, he grew up on the south side of Elkhart. The Community Foundation of Elkhart County supporting the Lilly Endowment and other private donors. And what is also very exciting is that the board of directors of the Tolson Center is extremely diverse, and they truly represent the community of Elkhart County. With all the excitement, there is a brand new building coming, and we have the renderings here. It is about a $12 million building. It will be twice the size of what the current center is. There's going to be basketball courts on the inside, a dance room, multimedia space, art space, classrooms, and a cafeteria and kitchen, full kitchen for food to be served to our youth. And on the outside, there will be a soccer field. There will also be outside basketball courts, and we are planning for a beautiful playground and a splash pad. So it sounds great, right? Sounds fun. Sounds like a place where we want all to come. I do want to recognize a committee member who is serving on the project management team, who is also in here. I don't know if you want to stand up or just wave your hand. Always have to recognize your committee members, right? And also want to recognize other executive committee members who also serve on the board. And that's Candy. Thank you. So with the building, there is always a need. So we are always looking for opportunities of individual donors who are interested in investing. We're also looking for partnerships because we want the center to be that place where individuals can come and have an opportunity to interact with a variety of resources that are offered here in Elkhart County. So I just want to share the mission and the vision before I conclude here. The Tolson Center for Community Excellence empowers lives through inclusive learning, recreation, and cultural exchange, opening doors to bright futures. And our vision for the center is that it will be a centerpiece for an enlivened South Central Elkhart. And it will be a premier destination for neighbors near and far, and a pathway to equity and opportunity for all. So it is a place where we all are able to come together, build memories, have fun, and enjoy each other. I do want to invite you all for our groundbreaking celebration. It's going to be extremely exciting. It's our opportunity to celebrate the future of Tolson. And that is on May 24th from 4 to 7. And it will be at the Tolson Center over on Benham Avenue. If you want to stay in the know and continue to get information about Tolson, also encourage you to visit tolson.org. If you have time after the meeting today, please stop by to see the renderings here, the new beautiful building that will be coming up here in the next 18 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. That's great. Fantastic. I know that there's so many exciting things going on. We really appreciate you being here to share that. And as she mentioned, please come up afterwards. You're going to hang around a bit after. That'll be great. Okay. Yesterday was May Day. May Day's got some historical little bits of trivia about it, but none more historic than the presenter who's going to come up and tell you about his last 50 years as a part of the Elkhart Rotary Club. Mr. Jim Reckoff celebrated 50 years yesterday. And I know you were going to mention that fact, but I didn't steal your thunder, but I know that you're a person of few words and you can consolidate this down to 3 minutes, 50 years in 3 minutes.
Eric, I have legal training. I can't say hello in less than 3 minutes. I grew up in Evanston, central Evanston. And when I was about 11 or 12 years old, a building was built a block and a half from my house on the path from home to school. So I walked past this building twice a day for 4 years. I had no idea what the building was. Later, I learned that it was the headquarters of the Elkhart or the Rotary Foundation, which meant absolutely nothing to me. 4 years later, when I was a senior in high school, I was invited to a Rotary luncheon, student guest type thing. Evanston had one guest per meeting. And so I dressed up, I went to the place. I sat down at a table with, I think, 5 other gentlemen and was immediately treated like a potted plant. So when I walked away, I didn't have a very good feeling about Rotary. Then 51 years ago yesterday, I moved to Elkhart, joined St. Joe Valley Bank, which, as many of you remember, was a very community-oriented bank, and it wanted its personnel to be involved in the community. John Armstrong, president of the bank, said, "Hey, young man, let's go visit some service clubs." So he and others arranged for me to visit the Lions, the Kiwanis, other service clubs, and I ultimately got it down to 3, Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary. Well, Lions was too raucous, so they were out. Kiwanis was not raucous enough, so they were out. And just like the fairy tale, Rotary for me was just right. So, as you know, 50 years in this club this month, great highlight. I could spend the rest of the afternoon talking about good things that have happened to me and that I've made happen, but I'm going to hit a few highlights for you and give you a couple thoughts about Rotary. One of the highlights was my committee work. Early on, I started getting onto committees. In a minute, I'll tell you why. My favorite committees were the Sergeant Committee and the Student Guest Committee, but there were several others on which I served, and they were always fun. In the year, Rotary year 80-81, I was president. That was accidental. I was on the board in 78, And the vice president, who was 2 years out to be president, left the club. And the board started looking around for someone to replace that person to get into the rotation. And apparently they went to every other director who said no. And so I was the last choice. And I was about to say no when my wife said, "You're crazy. You gotta do this." So I did. It was an interesting year, great fun. We started the plan to build the ELKR Community Daycare Center. That was a brainchild of Bill Heinheis, and he was going to follow me as president. So I was just really involved in the early planning, and Bill picked up the ball, and now you can go down on South Central and see what is no longer the daycare foundation, but it's still there and it looks very nice. Among other highlights were makeups. Now I had the privilege to make up in Turkey, in South Africa, in Canada, and of course many places in this country. And makeup should be on everyone's list every day of the week. I think back fondly to the Habitat bills where we actually put some sweat equity into helping people get into housing. I take special pride in my role in County Road 6 cleanups. And so I would echo Tom's plea that you see him for this Saturday. I think that's really an important thing that we do. It's a little thing for this community, but when you think about how good that road looks when we leave, right on. And of course, the well field. Past, present, and future, I'm all in on that. And that's because I'm a Rotarian. Two other personal things that are highlights for me. My son, Jeff, was a Rotary exchange student who was assigned to Turkey, and that's why I made up in Turkey. And my daughter, Julie, who moved from other place, New Hampshire, to Key West in 2014, promptly joined the Key West Sunshine Rotary Club. That was a very pride-making thing for me. Now, two pieces of advice that sort of helped me along in my Rotary career came early. I'm guessing in the 4 to 6 month range after I was sworn in. First one was from a senior Rotarian who said, serve on as many committees as you can, as often as you can. It'll help you to meet people quickly and get a feel for the club. Second piece was, don't sit at the same table or with the same people 2 weeks in a row for exactly the same reason. Well, there's a lot more I could tell you about my tenure here. I tell you, it's all been good. So to sum it up, I'll simply say that I've put a lot into Rotary at the club, at the district, at the international level. And because I have, I'm today a better informed and more sensitive human being. Now you and your predecessor members of this club have all helped me reach that point. And for that, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Jim, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing that. And you know, we always have so much to cover during these meetings. Obviously, 3 minutes can't ever do it. But what I will say, I did receive a good suggestion from one of our club members today to possibly record interview our 50-year plus members and maybe distill that down to highlights. I would, if someone's willing to do that and volunteer to do that, maybe we could do that. Julie, maybe we have okay. The other thought is make sure and attend some of these social activities because several folks, Mo, Jim, who else am I missing? Who I have been to a lot of these social events. Come to those. They're a lot of fun and in a very short period of time. And Pete Norton, where are you at? I know you're here. Pete would mention that Thirsty Thursdays, the third Thursdays of monthly, we meet somewhere. it's a great way. And as he always says, in 5 minutes, you get to learn more about your fellow Rotarians than you do, oftentimes in a month of meetings. So please consider those. And we've got a lot of opportunities. I will email that list by the end of the day. There will be something that fits with your schedule. Make the time and come and be social. It's a lot of fun, and we want to provide more of those opportunities this year. And Julie is doing a fantastic job. And there's also the service aspects too. You can be social while we're doing that too. That's the idea. Okay, each week we raise some funds to help not-for-profits. We're in the process of giving away, or in the process of deliberating on giving some of that money away right now. But to help us raise money, I'd like to welcome today's sergeant, who needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Dave Digert, thanks for helping police us today.
I was talking to Fran, she wanted to make sure I was gonna do the invocation. I said, I'm doing that, and the sergeants, and I said, you think they'll be sick of me by then? And she said, yeah, probably. So I have that opportunity. Give me just a minute to find out what it is I do here. Actually, I want to take a minute, and I think all of us need to recognize Eric, his wife Jamie, and his son Palmer. Palmer was inducted into the National Honor Society yesterday at ELKR High School. It was a wonderful ceremony. I know it was exciting for them, and I think they deserve a very good round of applause. I happened to be there with my great-grandson, Gianni Lucas, and he was also inducted in the National Honor Society. And part of his community service was because he's in Interact, so I was pretty proud of that. So I'm like Jim, try to get more and more out of Rotary and get more to it. So anyway, let's get started, see if we can raise some money, offend some people. Let's put in $5, and then we'll get started from there. This is my grocery list here. Tom McCarthy.
What?
You definitely got the date wrong on the County Road 6 cleanup. It was last Saturday. I was there. You so coldly called me out at the last meeting saying even sergeants are welcome. So I get up on Saturday morning and I think, well, he's right. I haven't been over there for a while. So I get dressed and, driving over there and thinking I want people to know we're something more than just the charming, funny people we are on Monday here. And we really do care. And besides that, I was pretty hungry for a big donut. But I get over there and I wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, nothing. So I go back home totally disillusioned. So if it is this Saturday, thanks for changing it. Is Jeff new here?
No.
Thank you. Jeff gave a wonderful presentation on his family business a couple of weeks ago. Very proud of it, enjoyed it. But he also skipped his two sons when he introduced the family. They had to stand up and introduce themselves. So I want to remind Jeff, as time goes on, those are the people that are going to choose his nursing home. So he better be a little bit more careful. Can anybody know the name Jennifer Jones, not a movie star, not an actress? Does that ring a bell with anybody? Hold up your hand if that rings a bell. Okay, you're a bunch of slouches. She's the new international president for Rotary coming up. And she's in the Quebec club, and she happens to be the first female president, international president. So pretty special. And now you know that, and now you're special. Anyway, we had a great March Madness this year. It's exciting, a lot of games, a lot of close games, a lot of the underdogs have survived for a long time. But one of my friends said, I really like the games, but he says, I don't think females should be refereeing. I said, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, and it's equal opportunities. I said, I just don't think they should do it. I said, I think they're fine. I think really, they've been very good at telling men what they're doing wrong. And I think they'll make good referees. The pandemic has treated us all differently. Each one had their own story. I found out that after 2 years practically of being locked up. I was trying to eat the cabinet doors off the cabinets, and I ended up gaining some weight. So I saw that on TV, or if you sign up for a health club, they guarantee you lose 10 pounds in the first month. So I filled out the online application, sent it in. It's been about 5 weeks now. I'm going to have to call them and see what the problem is over there. Also, I think Tom Schaaf was telling me he likes to work jigsaw puzzles. So he was working a lot of jigsaw puzzles, and he worked 1 in 3 months while he was in pandemic. And right on the box, it said 4 to 6 years. He was pretty proud of himself. I have a wonderful granddaughter that I'm very proud of and enjoy being with her. She's dealing with the pandemic like no one else ever has. She just can't believe that the stores are out of things, that things aren't working. You know, it's just so hard for her. And anyway, I said, well, you know, look at Sydney. I said, years ago, we didn't have grocery stores. I said, we're blessed with these wonderful grocery stores with all the things on the shelf. And, you know, years ago, people had to go hunt for their food. She says, oh, I could never do that. I don't even know where little Debbie lives. All right. As it's spring, I like to get out and play some golf. My wife was asking me the other day, she said, you gonna play with the Tim you played with last year? I said, no, I don't know if I am or not. I said, you know, would you play with someone that kicks a ball out from behind a tree, doesn't count all of his strokes, swears, just a really, really difficult golfer? She said, no, I sure wouldn't. I said, well, Tim doesn't want to either. Remember, it's Mother's Day coming up. I heard that they spend $2 billion on Mother's Day cards and gifts. So that's what I got. You got your $5 in. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
That's great.
Thanks everybody for pitching in. And remember, online, you've got the donate button at the top of elkhartrotary.org. You can make your contribution right there. Tom Schaaf, would you like to come up and introduce today's speaker?
Thanks, Eric. You know, the sheriff and I were chatting during the Tolson presentation. What an exciting project that looks like. But that was named after a sheriff's deputy, Herb Tolson, and he was really involved in the youth in our community. He's passed away since then, but good luck on your program. Yeah. This is Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. We are going to have on the 16th a special agent from the Secret Service is coming up from Indy to speak to us. That's going to be neat. And then on the 23rd, maybe some of you have remembered, years ago, we invited all the, Terry was the president then. We invited all law enforcement, firefighters, public safety people to come to lunch. And so the 23rd is going to be that day. So please come and acknowledge our safety people. Next week, there's going to be an exciting guest sergeant too, so stay tuned for that. Elected sheriff in November 2018, Sheriff Jeff Siegel started his career in law enforcement as a jail officer with the LaGrange County Sheriff's Department. In 1991, he began working at the ELKR County Sheriff's Office and was assigned to the Patrol Division. After working a short time in patrol, Sheriff Siegel accepted an assignment to work in the multi-jurisdictional drug unit known at the time as the Elkhart County Drug Task Force. In 1997, he was promoted to detective, where he focused on property crimes and as well as crimes against children. Throughout his time in the Detective Bureau, Sheriff Siegel became a polygraph examiner and a member of the American Polygraph Association. He's running unopposed next Tuesday for his second term as sheriff. Please welcome Sheriff Jeff Siegel.
Make sure we get you in. There's a whole lot of technology happening up there. Thank you for that introduction, Tom. It's hard to believe that it's been going on 4 years that I've been in the role of sheriff. But I'd like to start off this speech a little different. I'd like to loosen up the crowd a little bit and have a little fun. Eric, if you would help me.
Oh, sure.
I've got a couple of trivia questions I'd like to ask this group. Some of you in the room, if you've been, I spoke at the Elkhart Rotary, if you were there, kindly bow out. Troxel, you're just naturally eliminated based on years of history with you.
Right, sure.
For our at-home viewers, sorry, I may move off camera a little bit, but I've been told I have the perfect face for radio. So let's jump into trivia right away here. We're going to play a little bit of high or low. Who can tell me what year the Elkhart County Sheriff's Office was formed? Anyone? Dickerson, you usually talk a lot. A little higher.
1790.
Could we get a little higher than that? Lower.
1824.
Keep going, 24.
25.
Keep going,
32.
26, 28. Can I get a,
27. 29.
who said 1830? We got a winner. Where are you? Right here. We have got an Elkhart County Sheriff's Office challenge coin for that one. Make sure it's right.
Who is that going to?
The gentleman right here that brought his son. These are, I didn't think this would take this long. How many sheriffs have served Elkhart County? That's debatable because I've worked for a whole bunch of them. That's a joke. I'll give you a little hint. My number is similar to our past presidents. Shout it out. Did you say 45? Because I heard 45 right here from the gentleman in the plaid. One sheriff's office constitution coin. Another game of high-low. How many beds are in your Elkhart County jail? A lot higher. Judge? Higher. We are the second largest jail in the state of Indiana. And when I speak about that, is it weird? You know, it's not something I should brag about, but it's still pretty cool. We're the second largest jail. Let me see if I can give you a little hint. It is well over 1,000. Not well over. No. A little lower. It's a little bit lower than 1,025.
1024.
Boom, who said it? We got a winner. We have got a sheriff's office jail coin.
Sound like a get out of jail free?
1,024 beds. How many people are sleeping in it today? This is a tough crowd. Wow. Currently, there are 703 inmates in the Elkhart County Jail. That's actually one of the good things we got out of COVID. It helped bring our population down a little bit. Prior to COVID, we were running around 900 inmates. Does anybody know how many people work at the sheriff's office? More than 200. I wish, but the citizens do not wish that. Your taxes would go up a little bit for that. 200, but less than 205. 204. Who gave me a 203? We got a winner at 203. And the winner gets a sheriff's office coffee cup, challenge coin, and a sticker. And our final prize. I came on the sheriff's office in 1991. Who was the sheriff? Troxel, you're out. Randy Young. For that, we've got a coin, thermos, and a sticker. Who shouted that one out?
What's in here?
It's a thermos. It's I'll say it's a Yeti, but it's really not. It's a really cheap Yeti. Let's just jump into the serious part of this. In 2019, my first year as sheriff, I came in and replaced Brad Rogers. I was fortunate that I have a great relationship with Brad, so we worked together for months for him preparing me for this position as sheriff. But what I was getting ready to face, a lot of that he couldn't prepare me for because he had never dealt with it. So my first year as sheriff was actually pretty smooth. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm not the detective captain anymore. I only directly supervise like 2 people. So I'm like, life is good. Well, then 2020 came around. At the beginning of 2020, I made what some thought was an irrational decision to hold ICE detainees for 24 hours longer than they thought I should. That was my first taste of protests at the county council meetings. So that deal ended up not happening. Life goes on, so it's pretty good again. Then all of a sudden we get a thing none of us have ever dealt with, and it was called COVID. So not only did I need to ensure that my 203 employees were healthy and happy, I also found myself responsible for the health of every inmate that has been placed in that facility. Believe it or not, they're not the most healthy individuals when they come to us. So we do our best with our health provider WellPath to get these people to a little bit better health level and fighting through COVID to keep that out of our facility. So we found that people were calling us heroes during that time. I'm like, wow, heroes for showing up to work and doing what you all hired us to do. Well, then we found that within a matter of 8 minutes, we were zeros because of a little bit of activity that happened in Minneapolis. I'm sure we all remember the incident up there. We won't dive into that too deep. So that second year of my time as sheriff was a little bit more tumultuous. 2021, again, we were still fighting COVID. Then we started seeing a staffing crisis, which we're still, like a lot of employers in our county, struggling with finding staff to fill our slots in the jail. The jail, we've got about 100 corrections officers. We've got quite a few openings, so if any of you are looking for a job, I even offered Eric a job when I first got here, and I'd never even met him. Of course, he turned me down. But if you have friends or family or people that you really don't even like that much that are looking for work, send them our way. We'll try to deal with them for a little bit and get that jail staff so we can, again, serve the inmates better. You know, we're just a little bit into 2022. Again, we're fighting staffing. COVID, I guess, has magically disappeared, which I'm certainly happy for that. I also now find myself up for re-election. I'm blessed and extremely happy that I'm unopposed at the moment, but I don't rest on my laurels. I still will continue to do what I need because I do want to continue to serve you all as your sheriff. So if you're so inclined and happen to go vote tomorrow, I'd appreciate your marking the box for me. We've had a lot of accomplishments in my time as sheriff. Some of those were expensive, some of those were not. One of the things I'm most proud of is our employee wellness program. You know, when I was a young officer and we would go out and see horrible, horrible things on the street, from homicides to car accidents to the death of a child, we often didn't find ourselves prepared for that. So our employee wellness program is a program that provides wellness in the mental, physical, and financial fields for officers to get help with. Believe it or not, cops aren't the best with their money. Usually the more we pay them, the more they spend and sometimes find themselves in a little bit of trouble. So we offer these things for officers so they can ease that situation if they find they've gotten themselves in a tight situation. We've also worked with the county commissioners and doubled the number of employee assistance visits that our officers are eligible for. So that's a good relationship. And of course, Brad Rogers is a commissioner, so he's a good one for me to lean on. You know, and we've always, not always, but in 2008, the sheriff's office implemented a body camera program for our patrol officers. We also have now implemented that program, not only for our patrol officers, but each and every corrections officer is outfitted with body camera. And they use that to record every interaction and conversation with inmates at the facility. A long tradition of accreditation is something the sheriff's office has been proud of ever since I have been on. What year did we start that, Jeff? Do you remember? It was well before you and I came on. So that tradition of being certified for our law enforcement continues, but we've also been recently reaccredited in the correctional wellness and the operations of the correctional facility as well. So there's a few accomplishments, things we're very proud of, but I like to come to these groups and hear what's on your hearts. So I'd love to answer questions. I will answer them as best I can. I am certainly not an expert in everything. Some of the crazy calls I get as sheriff, I am now somewhat of an expert in the avian flu. So if you have flocks of chickens or ducks at home, the Board of Animal Health is allowed by law to come on your property and check them. I'm also learning here over the last few days about mining. I never really put the two together that a gravel pit was a mine. I guess it makes sense. So I'm now learning about mine safety as we have some issues in Elkhart County that I guess I need to be aware of. So with that, questions, let's open it up. Hearing none, I appreciate your. Yes, sir.
A young person who wanted to go into law enforcement, what would be the career path for the education, anything else?
For our at-home viewers, what is the path or career path look like for a young person who would like to get into law enforcement? Years ago, the sheriff's office used to require all of our merit officers, police officers, to have a 2-year college degree. We went away from that several years ago because we realized that we were truly missing out on a lot of good applicants. So while we love to hire guys that have college, it's certainly not required anymore. If you come to work for us and you're a police officer, we'll actually pay for your college if you want to go back. But for young folks, if you want to start in corrections, you have to be 18 years of age. Kind of hard to believe that an 18-year-old is equipped and has the brain power to deal with some of our inmates, but that's where we're at. One thing we do at the sheriff's office is we prefer to hire our road officers from the correctional staff. It's a little bit of a cheat for us because we not only get to see their work ethic, but also their personal character as well, to see if they are actually going to fit our mold to be a patrol officer. So again, do good in high school, come in and apply. You know, like I said, we've got a few openings, so we'll consider about everybody. That's it? Yes, sir.
What's the average cost for a yearly inmate?
For, I'm sorry, average cost for a yearly.
For a yearly inmate in the jail?
Well, that sounds like a question I used to get every month from John Leatherman, who was a county councilman. I actually can't answer that. We've been working on getting a definitive answer because we have been trying to answer it accurately. So we need to take into consideration how much wear and tear is on the facility because of an inmate. How much is a mattress? How much are uniforms, flip-flops, food, medical, all that. So that's one goal we haven't got to is a good answer. Little bit of side information. To house an inmate used to be $35 a day. So for example, if I house an inmate for Wabash County, I charge them $35 a day. When Randy Yan was the sheriff, it was $35 a day. So that doesn't even truly represent how much it would cost to house someone. Ma'am, and I just saw you a little bit ago.
Yes. Oh my God.
Good to see you.
I was at the county commissioners meeting this
I actually wanted to thank you. A few years back, my teenage, at the time, teenage daughter and I took a self-defense course for females that was offered free through the sheriff's office or sheriff's department. And it was a great course, and I loved beating up on some deputies at the end. I mean, they were well cushioned, but we learned a lot, and I was so grateful for that being offered, and I would pay to go, but it was free, and there were a lot. I saw every age there. I saw other mother-daughter pairs where the daughters were embarrassed to be with their mother to find one. And I wanted to ask you, is that still going on?
Yes, it's called the RAD program. It's still going on. We just posted on our Facebook page. We've got some classes coming up. They're going to be at the new Aquatic Center. So jump on our Facebook page. If you're not already following us, please do. We've got about 43,000 followers on there. So we try to pump out good information. We don't pump out tons of information so you lose interest. We try to keep it interesting, but that information is on there. Thank you. And that's one, one thing is getting elected sheriff. I never realized I was going to attend every county commissioner and every county council meeting. So I've gotten very good at leading the pledge. I kind of felt violated today when I wasn't invited to lead the pledge. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I tend to look at things half full, but let's say you were to get contested and not win, what would be your plans or thoughts after something like that? Would you remain in force?
Sure. So I will. That was a great reminder. If I was contested and lost, what would my future look like? Is that fair enough? If I would happen to lose in November, obviously I don't think I'll lose tomorrow as long as Schaff votes for me. I'm hopefully good. If I would happen to lose in November, I would absolutely, I would stay for that remaining month and make the transition a good one for whoever's taken over. In my last campaign, there was 3 of us running. I was super proud, not only of the campaign we ran, but my 2 opponents, because I worked with those guys for tons of, most of my career. We were friends. I'm not going to make it negative like you see some campaigns. And because I've given 32 years of my life to that sheriff's office, I don't want to see anything bad happen to it or to the men and women that work there. So I'm not going to leave that in a bad place for someone else to take over. Green shirt.
Can you talk a little bit about what you see happening as for your department as the county transitions to a merged building of its own? How that will affect you?
Yes, sir. This is a question about merging the 2 county courthouses. As a taxpayer, I certainly am a little leery, but as the sheriff, I'm excited about it. One of my duties as sheriff is making sure that individuals in the jail are transported to court when they're needed. Transporting to one facility over 2 facilities is going to be a very nice luxury for our staff. We will also then be tasked with securing only 1 courthouse instead of 2 courthouses. So it's going to be, it's going to alleviate staffing quite a bit for us. So it's going to be a good thing. The other good thing, kind of along that lines of that question and a positive from COVID, is we've gotten some of the judges doing video court. So instead of transporting every inmate to court, we're now just moving them literally into a room in the jail where they can do video court, video hearings, and they've even done some video trials. So that's been another benefit of that. Yes, sir, in the back.
Of your inmates that you have currently, what percentage of those were sent through ELKR County, other counties where you're housing?
How many inmates were sentenced locally are still serving their sentence in our jail? Is that correct?
Just a rough percentage.
So several years ago, the state changed the law where level 6 felonies could be sentenced to and have their time served in their home facility. Pre-COVID, we were running around 40 level 6 felons serving time in the jail. However, recently we're well under 10. So we don't house a lot of level 6s. I would have to question the judges why we've gone that route, but I'm good with that. Because the staffing is depleted, I would rather also keep our population down. It's just a little easier on the staff to deal with fewer inmates. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Well, I guess what I was getting to, you said there were about 700 inmates, correct?
Correct.
So of those 700, are 50 from out of the county, or 700 from out?
No, they are all Elkhart County cases at this point. Due to staffing, I have stopped doing any housing for any other counties. Because again, I've got to look out for those officers that are sticking with us. Yes, ma'am.
Could you speak a little bit about how the sheriff's department interacts with the municipal police departments and the state police?
I can speak to how we interact with the other agencies in the county and the state police. We interact very well with them. I actually figured somebody would ask this question. In my odd way of looking at things, we are a lot like siblings. So Elkhart City is our brother. Now, we may not get along all the time, but somebody who's not in law enforcement better not talk about my brothers and sisters in EPD. And same goes for Middlebury, Goshen, and all these. All the administrators meet once a month and have a meeting at the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's office participates in that. So we're all communicating well. One of my other goals that I intended when I first got elected was to have a bi-weekly information sharing meeting, but that meeting wouldn't involve administration because quite honestly, I'm not out on the street doing the job. I would like to see us do better in our guys that are doing the job, being the detectives, have those guys all come together because the individuals doing crime in the city, well, guess what? They're still doing crime in the county or they're doing crime in Goshen. So we need to get those folks together to improve our communication a little bit.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So continues a difficult string of speakers that I have to tell to stop speaking. Jeff, I had to tell a judge last week to stop speaking, and I had to tell the chief of police from Elkhart, and it is an unenviable position. So
I'm a politician because of my job, but I'm not one that likes to get up and hear myself just.
Love it. Thanks again for coming out. And I have to say, my personal experience I shared with Jeff and also with Tom. My brother, right out of high school, he's 4 years younger than I. He actually was interested in law enforcement. Our dad was literally a lifetime law enforcement officer, state policeman, and my brother started as an intern with the corrections department, and in fact, then got his first job in the corrections department, became a patrol officer, and eventually ran and was elected in the county that we grew up in as our elected sheriff. And he, I think, also is unopposed this November. But that's right along the pathway that you were describing in terms of corrections. So my brother's doing something right, and I'm really happy he's there representing the family because I got the hell out of there. It rains a lot in Oregon, and he's ready for that. So, well, thank you again for being here. Thanks for everybody. I just feel these are such a good. It's a team environment at these meetings. A lot of people go into it, and of course, you all. It wouldn't be a meeting without you all being here. So, thanks again. Look for an email from me. All those little details and dates. You'll have them all in one place. We hope to get you out to all those activities. Thanks again for being an Elkhart Rotarian. Thanks for serving your community. Rotary is adjourned.